What is going on, guys? This is the 2016 Cadillac ATS-V. My dad has had this car for about a year now. It's his daily driver, and it's been absolutely phenomenal so far. However, just like any car, there are some things that we wish were differently. So after about 13 months, here are the 4 worst parts of this car. So number 1 is going to be the fact that General Motors did not give this car the LT1 engine that you see in the base C7 Corvette and the Camaro SS. So for those of you who don't know, this car is a 3.6 liter twin-turbo V6. And its power output is essentially the same as the LT1. I believe it's a little bit more horsepower, but a little bit less torque. And the obvious thing that people are going to say is you're going to get better gas mileage with this V6 rather than the LT1. And normally that would be true, that you would be getting better gas mileage with this over, say, like a V8. But because of the cylinder deactivation that you can use in the LT1, where you literally turn off half the engine, you can actually get much better gas mileage in that if you deactivate, obviously, half the cylinders than you would with this. And obviously the LT1 is going to sound much better than a V6. This car does sound good, but I have heard this Corvettes and the Camaros in person, and I do prefer that V8 sound. And knock on wood, this engine hasn't had any problems, and like I said, we've had it for about 13 months now. But the LT and the LS family engines are so proven when it comes to reliability. They are just, they're very dependable. So, like I said, it really just doesn't make much sense to me why Cadillac made this engine instead of just giving it the LT1, which, like I said, I think that would have been perfectly fine. Basically the same power output, good enough gas mileage when you want it to be like that. Maybe you're on the highway and then you want to deactivate half the cylinders. And like I said, better sound and most likely better reliability. Now, number 2, I debated putting this one in just because it's such an obvious complaint with the Cadillacs. But I was literally struggling to come up with more things that I dislike about this car, so I figured, why not put it in? It is a downside after all. And it is this Q system, which, like I said, a lot of people complain about it. To be honest, I think it's a little bit overhyped. You get used to it when you have the car for a while. I don't even drive it that often, and I've gotten used to it. Overall, though, it really isn't the greatest. It's a little bit difficult to get used to. It can be confusing at times. There's a lot of times delay in like the buttons and stuff like that. And overall, I really don't like the digital buttons on here. I prefer something that's going to give you like more feedback and more immediate response. Like I said, there is a bit of a delay with these things just because they're not actual like physical buttons. They're just it's kind of like a touch screen. It has plenty of features that you'd probably find in like a M3, something like that. So it's not lacking when it comes to like content. It's really just the layout of it and the way that it was executed by Cadillac. Now, number 3 is going to be the fact that the pedals are placed kind of far apart, which makes it really hard to heel and toe downshift. Now, Cadillac's reasoning behind this was probably that people wouldn't be doing this because of the rev match feature in the car, which is excellent, by the way. That is one thing that I do love about the car. But at the same time, there's also going to be a lot of people that would rather just turn it off by clicking the paddle on the steering wheel, and they would rather heel and toe downshift themselves. And overall, the pedals are just not set up very well to be doing this. And last is going to be how easy it is to stall this car. Between the power and the throttle response in a car like this, you'd expect that it wouldn't be that hard to get it going. You just tap the gas pedal and that should give it plenty of revs and it should get going pretty easily. Not the case at all. For whatever reason, you have to give it way more gas than you'd expect in order to get it going, or else you're going to stall. I actually just drove the 2016 Viper last month, and that is known as being one of the rawest and most difficult cars out there to drive. And I actually found it way easier to get that car going from neutral. I've driven quite a few different manual cars, and I've actually found that this one, especially compared to like my 350Z or like I said, the Viper, it's actually, it's way harder to get it going than you'd think. And that just comes as a surprise to me because like I said, it has so much horsepower, it's a sporty car, you'd expect that the throttle response would be really good, but that's just not the case. Alright, so that's it, guys. Normally I would pick 5 things, but like I said, this car is phenomenal. I literally couldn't think of a 5th thing, so this will have to do, I guess. So if you guys like this car, I have a lot more videos up of it on my channel, so feel free to check those out. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Take care. I'll see you next video.